Welcome, everybody, to the Mixed-Up-Mike Show, the only show that brings you live interviews and DJ sets in the same place. And I have a very special guest for you today, the one, the only, Jephirsun Danger. What's going on, brother?
Just living life.
Living life?
Time. Making art, making music.
Is that on?
Oh, yeah. We got it on. Yeah.
Right. So that's like a old style, like, so you gotta like deep
yeah.
throat
give
it.
to the palm. Give it the old palm like a
Yeah.
MC it. Got
One
the
of
MC
those.
action. All right.
I don't
Old
have the
school. I
fancy
like
ones.
That's cool. Yeah.
But yo, man, thank you for coming down.
Absolutely.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it. I appreciate it. Hey, Odin's here. He wants to say something. That's my dog. He's an English bulldog. That you just heard purring. That's for real. Okay.
That was in English.
He's a star, man. He's become quite the star. Listen, dude, don't knock my shit over. All right, but anyways, man, how you doing?
Not bad.
Remember the deep throat.
Just got done doing some murals on my studio wall. Reset up my studio, so that's kind of a new thing going on at my house.
Yeah, you
right
get
now.
that art, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's really where I started coming up with it's back in like maybe 2008. I started going out to the festivals and selling my art, trying to just hustle it, flip it. You know, it was just a little side thing, and it kind of just grew and grew until like I was running art tents out at Freedom Field for a while.
That's
and,
awesome.
You know, that's where I really got known. Started flipping that for music equipment.
Yeah. Hey, but I mean, honestly, with the art that you make, man, is really intense. I mean, the 3D effect, and then the glow-in-the-dark paint you use for blacklight stuff,
Right,
like
yeah.
it's some of it's just absolutely like phenomenal.
Yeah, I've studied art my whole life. My aunt was an art teacher. She was like in Connecticut. I was in Maine, but that was an influence. Seeing her art and kind of knowing that that's like in my blood to be able to do that really inspired me, I guess, at a young age. And I was encouraged. My parents encouraged it. They'd get like kits from her, like, you know, little packs, like care packs and stuff full of art stuff. And, you know, I just sit there and learn to tool around with it. I really took to it more in school, obviously. And that was probably like my one good course. But yeah, once I got out of high school and I got into the military, and then I just started exploring it more afterward when I got into college again. There was all these courses opened, and I took them as electives, kind of already having a niche for it. And it just that's where I really learned art and in a deeper level. So like the 3D stuff that comes out and understanding lighting and just a lot of your contemporary parts of art that are important to know.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a really natural artist, which, I mean, a lot of us start out as to begin with. But once you get a certain bit of structure and foundation to it, it takes it to a whole nother level. You understand it like science. You know, it's, yeah. I mean, you could work on a car, but, you know, if you start to learn the science of physics, you could be an engineer. You know?
Exactly.
Like, you know, mechanic and technician, two different things.
It's how far you want to take it.
Right.
You know what I mean? What branch are you serving?
I was in the Army.
You were in the Army?
Yeah, 101st Airborne.
Awesome, man.
Yep.
Did you good times?
Good times, bad times, all of it. It's full experience. It's definitely what I signed up for.
I appreciate your service, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys being free.
I know a lot of military guys like don't like it. My old neighbor, he just moved. He was a Marine.
Oh yeah.
Hated it.
He's still a Marine, right?
Well, he's 17 years already, so he's doing intel now. So
that's.
But
good.
he has to move every 2 years. That's
I went in.
Shitty part.
I was 21. I went in, and actually, it was a significant time. I went in March 18th, 2003. March 20th, which was 2 days later, was the day that the war started in Iraq.
Yep.
So I was the first class to go through basic training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
That's
in
crazy.
the time of war,
Yep.
which was quite an experience in itself. You know, but that's when you knew it was real. It wasn't just like I'm going on an adventure anymore. It was like, oh, this is
real deal.
This is like actually what I got to do, you know. And yeah, and that's, I think, been a lot of help, honestly. Like being a DJ, a certain attention to detail. You know, I was a scout, so having a certain understanding in time, that adrenaline dump that you get. You know, there's a whole lot of experience that comes from being able to be in a pressure situation. You have to think fast. Time moves in one direction, and it's non-compromising. It's not about your failure; it's about your recovery.
Yep.
You know, and that kind of concept, and then also just my love of music, and then having that attention to detail, you really get into some play. You know, and I was a pro skater for a while, and even that, like, you know, it transitioned into to being able to be a skater, and now being a skater, having that artistic ability at the same time of doing something very fast-paced and highly risking.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely has been able to be, you know, transitioned over into my skills in DJing as well.
That's awesome. When was the first time you heard house music?
Ooh, house music, man. I'd say mid-90s. I mean, Prodigy really was like...
Prodigy was crazy.
I mean, it was like, so I was born in 81, just to give you guys like a time setting for me. So my family was very musical. They love music. My dad was into Motown and R&B, that real soul music, you know, and my mom was into, you know, just really good rock and pop music of the times. I mean, from her era, which was the 60s, and, you know, she was born in 1960, so 60s and 70s music, and a lot of just 70s funk, and you know, not so much disco, but there was stuff there, you know what I mean, that influenced, but I liked electronic music very early on, even from just elements of Pink Floyd that they have in their albums to, what's his name? I can't think of it all of a sudden now. Guy did Cars.
Oh shit!
But yeah, like, so, you know, that was early on. Prodigy was probably the first that I had heard that like was like, whoa, what is this? Like, I like this.
Crystal Method.
Yeah, Crystal Method, Aphex Twin, Depeche Mode. It was like, or not Depeche Mode. Sorry, why did I say that? Daft Punk.
Daft Punk
is what I meant.
Fatboy Slim.
Yeah, Fatboy Slim was another. Oh my God, yeah, that's another throwback.
Moby.
But then I started like,
he had some.
I got into like still like breaks and stuff. Really kind of like was a thing already because I was really into hip hop. I had all my cousins listening to hip hop music at the time, and like, you know, hip hop at its root is an element of breaks. Breaks was the, like, you know, it started with the funk, you know, took the funk break and, you know, you looped that, you jogged it over, and
that
like,
808.
and then right when the 808 came into the play, everything just became like that booty bass breaks. I mean, like 2 Live Crew, like, you know what I mean?
2
like,
Live Crew was awesome.
That was I remember the first time I heard 2 Live Crew, and I was like, this music, like, that was dance music. There was this energy to it, and that just that step, that time, that just the little pattern that you get from that. But I mean, I got into drum and bass as well. There was just a lot of influences. I mean, Napster came up all of a sudden, you know, when I was in high school, and that was like the first time you really got to dive into like music outside of like being in a record store. So I'm from Maine, you know, there wasn't a place where I could just go dive through the records, and, you know, for me it was digital music and the internet on dial-up. And
Napster had a lot of music.
Yeah, and so
people were sharing everything.
Yeah, we were definitely pirating pretty hard back then. And then of course all the other platforms that came up after that we'd use, but that sharing was probably a big important piece of me being able to like learn new music out there that I would have never been able to. Bad Boy Bill, you know, was one
Rigid
of them.
Home Division.
DJ Kioki. Man, who were some of the ones? But you know,
Icy.
Icy. I still use Icy. He's one of my go-tos.
Simply Jeff. I mean, there's a lot of them.
Man, Ronnie
what made
Size.
you wanna, you know, what got to that point where you were like, you know what, I want to do this?
Well, I had a lot of friends that were into. We were experimenting a lot with music at that time. So I was into like metal and punk, but at the time, new metal was coming out. So you had like Korn, Limp Bizkit, Incubus, and these guys had these crossovers. They had a DJ, and I was like, my God, that's so cool! Like
Linkin
a
Park.
DJ, right? You know, and I kind of always wanted, like, you know, being the colored kid up in Maine, you know, it was like I felt like that was my part. That's my role. I got to bring that hip hop vibe, that urban vibe. So I early on wanted to get turntables and a mixer, and I think for my 16th birthday, it was 15 or 16, that my mom got me, turntables and a mixer, and I couldn't mix at the time. I didn't have the record collection. I didn't have the access to that kind of stuff. But what I would do is get these instrumental records. Remember, like what was it? Black Star. So it was like just the instrumental, and I'd run the instrumental, and my friends would flow, and then I'd like scratch on the left. Yeah. And being a guitar player, this right here, it was like it correlated to being able to have that ambidextrous movement, and the timing of like one hand, getting a time signature with the other one doing something different. And I learned how to scratch back then. Mixing came later on, once I got kind of back into it, which was a little bit more recently. I'd say like 2016, I started getting into like, okay, like let me mix songs together, and start getting into like the mix side of DJing, instead of like just being a scratch DJ and cutting, and the old early fundamentals.
Hip hop battles.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, exactly. So that's really where it started, but that was in the 90s. So like it stopped once I went in the military. I always produced. I had like very Acid 1.0. It was like the first one that came out. I'm trying to think. There was Cakewalk, and then Fruity Loops. I remember when Fruity Loops was born, and I was like, oh, what's this? And I played with that for a while. I got into it, dabbled with it. I'm trying to think. Hip Hop EJ was like the first thing I'd ever had. I think my mom had got me that. And it was like, yeah, that's when I started producing.
Wow, yeah. That was a minute ago.
Yeah, I mean that's really like, so like at the beginning of like kind of.
So you were producing way before DJing.
Yeah, I was definitely more into the production side of it very early on, which has honestly been a huge help to just understanding how to mix, because I understand music really well, and I love music, and I listen to it in so many different forms. I mean, you could listen to the same song like 5-6 different ways, just depending on what you're focused on, or the different harmonics within it, and
BPM,
right? Right.
You jack up the BPM, say 10, it's a whole new track.
Absolutely, yeah. And just like isolations and stuff that things that you can pull out of it.
Yeah.
And we used to play games too. Like a lot of like my friends and I would sit around, listen to music, and try to like, what's that sample? Is that like you'd listen to the song, like, where's that sample from? That's Aerosmith like solo from this song, and that beat, that's that break from this funk song, and trying to know what that sound was being taken from was like, I think that helps me being able to mix songs now. So you kind of understand, it's like, wait, that tune, that sounds like, wait, this song, and suddenly now these two songs go together.
Yeah, man, it's mixing. You can do so much, especially with the technology.
Oh, it's art.
It's almost limitless.
It is. It really is.
On what you can do.
It's whatever intuition and perception that you have. I think anything, like once the idea is there, it can be done. It's just, honestly, a lot of us are so hard on ourselves, really. Like, I catch myself, I'll go and look back and watch my like mixes, and in the middle of my mix, I'm making this screwed up face because I'm like, oh, I didn't do what I was trying to do. But I'm listening, I'm like, why am I screwing my face up? That sounded so good. Like, what are you talking about? That was so good. I just didn't do what I was trying to do. And like, you get really hard on yourself because of that. You know what I mean?
We're our
like
biggest
that
critics,
artist, right? You want to be that artist. Sometimes you just got to let it be what
you want to push the boundary, and,
right? You
know what I mean, and like have your own sound. Where when somebody listens to you spin, like
it's that pushing, that being experimentative but also deliberate, and getting that result. Like you have a hypothesis, and you want your conclusion to be accurate to it, and that's. Again, it comes down to the endless, limitless stuff. I mean, it's just, as soon as you got the idea, like, wait, I can do it by doing, and it's just a matter of being able to accurately play that out.
Yeah, and you got to practice it as well. Oh
yeah, absolutely, yeah, every day. So that's like really, it's been a help for me, is I practice every day. I get up, I mean, once a day, I'm on my decks. and I really forced myself a lot of times very early on. I'd put myself in a pressure seat. It was almost like a immersion training, where you throw yourself into the real deal and you just have to learn like from experiencing it.
Yep.
So I put on these live feeds, and there were so many little things that made me better because of it. One was the algorithm, because they're going to pick up those songs. So you had to mix that hard. You had to mix so hard that the algorithm couldn't pick up the track, and then
try to beat it.
Right. So like you had to stay ahead of that, and then like, you know, now it's like people are watching, and it's like you got to let it go. Don't get hung up. Don't train wreck. You know, and just being able to push myself into being a performer more. You know, so every single day I'd at least put myself in that hot seat. You know, put the risk out there, take the chance, be the human being.
You have to, but it makes you better as a DJ. You know what I mean? Like, so when you go to the club and you're there, having that experience, like going live, you know, I go live a few times a week.
Right.
And I use that time, you know, to communicate with the people in the chat, you know, hang out, play some tunes, but I also experiment.
Right.
You know, that's where I do a lot of practice.
It's really what it
like,
is. It's
hey,
open practice.
Let's try this. Sounds good. It sounds good. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. No, it's like, but just wait.
But wait a minute. I'll be right back.
It's coming. It's coming.
Or it's just like
a lot of my friends have actually like over time have learned. Well, I mean, of course, I've gotten way better at this too. So like, if I'm off, I'm pretty quick to get it back into where it needs to be. But most people understand now that they're like, just give him a second, because he's doing something that's gonna, you know, be very mind blowing. It's at least that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm off, it's not because I'm slacking. It's because I'm trying to do something at that moment that might be outside of the
you
parameters.
might be using
being unorthodox.
Is making it sound. You know.
Or sometimes I might have just thrown it off. I mean, sometimes honestly it can get so I get having fun so much, and I'll sit there and bump the deck. I'm like, oh, jog it back. It's part of the song.
When you're drumming and stuff, using the keypads going, and all of a sudden it's.
I use a lot of improv rules too, like. So like I've been in jam bands, and I did a lot of live production where I would kind of like make a song on the fly using synthesizers and beat machines. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and I'd set it all up through a mixer, analog, had 4 channels, and each channel was kind of like a part of the track. So it was almost like being in Ableton, but making it an analog layout. And just kind of writing with each instrument to try to make a sequence,
like what you have
looping.
Set up at your studio.
Yeah, I got I want to get the synthesizer into it. That's really like I want to get like the 1000s, the DJJ 1000, because then I can actually open up one of those 4 channels and just run my mixer through it. I mean my synth through it, and then I can use any of these arrangements of color and effect to, you know, put into that. And there's like, I love using a 3/4 delay on that synth, and then like once you start messing with like filters and envelope gates and all that, it just starts, you get these really awesome trilling off delay effects that play really well into music.
Like you're bending and twisting the
and you can use it
and
to create harmonic, which is super special.
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, like if you can get like using a 3/4 delay as you're changing a filter, and then it harmonizes with what you're playing now at the real time. So like the 3/4 is now harmonizing with the new change that you've made, like a 3/4 later.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I start playing with it it just gets really like playful, you know, science. And I've played with synths a lot. I've really like tapped into the synth. I love the science behind it. Waveform building and sound shaping.
Yeah.
So the one that I have, the synth I have, it's a monologue, Korg monologue. I recommend it to everybody out there. If you're gonna get into a synth or have a synth, get this. It has the best sequencer on any like synth ever built. Aphex Twin helped design it. It's got, I think at basic, if you wanted to learn what you can do with a synthesizer and how to really push sound with it, go ahead and get that.
No.
There's also the Minilog, which is a bigger version. It has a couple more, it might be a little like an extra octave to it. It has the same sequencer, I'm pretty sure, but that's polyphonic, which means that you can play more than one key. Like you can play chords.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the monologue you can only play one key at a time, so it's more like a lead.
Yeah.
And I being a lead guitarist from like metal bands and punk bands, I love this thing. And it's made for guitarists and bass players. It starts with E instead of C. If you ever get a keyboard, the first key is always C. This one starts with E, just like the top string of a normal tuning on a guitar.
Wow.
So it's made for you to like play like a guitarist or a bass player.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's really great for production too. But
that's cool, man.
yeah, I'd like to be able to run into another channel and play along, make sequences, match it up, and just do more cutting with it.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun to do.
That would be. Now you have a Glyph Enterprise.
Right. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So Glyph is it's kind of just a rejuvenation of me and my friends. Some of my old crew, we've been rolling in this underground scene for about 3 years now together. It's just some of my closest homies. We really have like a vision to step up into a more professional element and present ourselves a little bit more with a little bit more commercial success. We want to get on larger events and venues. So the idea is to start a talent agency for people that are kind of at that level. There's not really anybody in the area representing local artists kind of in that way, almost like a record label, but really focusing on trying to build branding, marketing, publicity, like being a publicist in a way for them as well, for social media marketing, doing interviews, getting features, stuff like that. And just trying to mold them into a more professional success, but also getting them booking, getting their riders and legalese all put into right order, and just holding a little bit more of a professional appeal for artists and DJs in the area. Leaning a little bit more towards people that want to produce, because that is a little bit more sought out. When you want to get on a big venue and get paid larger amounts of money, it usually takes you having to have a production of some sort underneath your belt. So we're kind of there to help people with that too, because like a lot of us like in our crew are actual producers. So whether or not like we bring on somebody else that's not a producer, but a really good DJ, well, now you're surrounded by producers, and we can get you in the studio. We can get you to start learning the method, or at least you can get them to produce for you. Ghost produce for you. There's many ways we can do a lot of things like that, and I think that's just really my focus, is trying to have a little bit more of talent focused promotions.
That's cool, man. I mean, it really is. It's a huge business.
Oh, absolutely.
Between the producing and especially trying to get booked for larger venues.
It's hard.
And the way social media is, and I've seen other companies out there. So you're building something from scratch with your homies.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That you guys can vibe off each other and be able to grow and
Absolutely.
and help each other grow.
I want to have it as an open door eventually. You can only take on so much at a time. So, we're kind of basically using ourselves as the model at this moment. And from that, it will progress. And once we've got it built right and it was working for us as a model, then we can start introducing other people into it. But yeah, mainly, I mean, just being able to have a certain kind of professional appeal to you is going to also open these gates for you to have more people outside of the area like calling on you to come out. Like you can build your fan base really easy online, but it doesn't mean that they're going to still like have you on some event outside of like an area. You really got to be able to have the full package, and
you got to make it appealing for them.
Right.
So, and that's where you come into play.
And it's so much work. So I've been doing this for myself, mainly for like, since I've started, I've always been doing this for myself. And I see that that's a lot of things that like, okay, so as an artist, you put so much focus into that art, right? It's really hard for somebody to be able to balance being able to do that and then at the same time balance going and doing all the business side, and then keeping up on the social media, and then getting your bookings done.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's just like around the clock. It's like, where do I have time to work on this and put in the fun time to progress and build a good set or go produce
spend time with the kids, you know?
Right, and then have a life.
Yeah,
and
you know,
have a life. But and I guess that's like really where I started realizing that that's what I think a lot of these artists are missing, is having somebody out there that can do that for you. You don't have to put the focus and time into the business stuff. You know, you sign off with us, and then we got somebody who's being your publicist, and they're worrying about when to post promo events, and, you know, where to get you booked. You don't have to worry about the booking. We just tell you the schedule, you know, and this is where you got to be. You don't have to sit if you're like, I want to get a feature on a song. Okay, don't sit here and waste your time looking for somebody to feature. Tell us you want somebody featured, and we'll go find somebody, and we'll bring you a list of people. Like, who do you want?
Yeah,
you know, that's at least the goal. Man. You know, right? It's, you know, somebody basically to hold your hand and make your job easier, because we want the artist to focus on being an artist.
Yeah.
That's where, I mean, because that's what will kill an artist real quick, is getting overwhelmed with all these other things that just like take your mind off of being creative and having this imagination. I want your mind on imagination mode, full bore. Like you know, when you're in front of this, I don't want you stressed out about thinking about all these other ulterior things that need to happen. I want you to just get in there and do you.
Dude, I understand completely what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because I do it. You know what I mean?
Performing. Be a performer. Don't, you know, I don't want you worrying about the lights in the show.
You know what I mean? Like the socials and
it's so
making
much.
The events and, you
it's
know,
tiring.
And trying to do this and that and being on all the different platforms. It's tiring. And then
it is.
Each platform you have to set it up and change this and change that. It's like, fuck, man.
I've been playing.
You need an assistant.
Yeah,
you really do.
Absolutely. It really does. You need a manager. You need a lot of, like, you know, and Maine's really hard too, because it's a small community. It's spread out. I mean, New England, really, it's like the whole New England area in itself is a large community. And then it's that much spread out. And I live in Bangor, Maine. It took me 3.5 hours just to come down here. And
I appreciate
that's
that,
just another day for me too. And no, absolutely, I appreciate being on the show, sharing some times and vibes.
Yeah, man.
But that's like, you know, what it takes, you know, honestly, to survive in this scene right in this area, especially if you're not like in Portland or Dover or, you know, Boston or something. You know, Providence, right? You know, you gotta be in a real good location. And Maine is like a one-way road. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, it's a dead-end road. Like, everything stops in Bangor. I'm the last bang on the road. and that's, you know, I travel down out of there. There's not even a scene up in Bangor. I'd like to get something really popping and going up there. I know there are a couple guys up there that are putting on some events. And I encourage them to keep going and keep pushing. I hope someday I can feature on there and maybe help bring the crowd in. There's some good venues up there that could be worked on as well. There's one place that I like a lot. It doesn't have a large capacity, but it's a really good venue to incorporate art and our music together. It's called the Bangor Art Exchange, the Bay, the BAE. It's on Exchange Street. It's I've played there once with Crunkwitch, and that was a really nice venue. I just like they have almost like an amphitheater wall carved in.
Oh, really?
In the back. Yeah, it's on the second floor. It wraps around in a circle, and it's got like an area where you could do like a gallery room somewhere else.
Yeah,
you could have 2 separate rooms going on.
That's fucking pretty.
It's a really
sick,
nice setup. And they'll bring in a bartender for you and everything.
Oh, they hook it up.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, so if you're ever looking for an event to throw in Bangor, I would look at Bay, the Bangor Art Exchange. That's one good spot. G-Force was another one that's in the Bangor Mall. It's like an arcade, and they got like laser tag and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the rooms is the laser tag room. It's all painted with black light splattered all over the walls.
That's
and
cool,
the
man.
whole room's black light. So
That's cool.
they got 2 different rooms you could do stages on. So I bet you could do some pretty banging events there. And that's, I think, where the guys in the area are already doing it in G-Force right now. So there's definitely some spots. I mean, there's bigger places there as well,
Yeah.
but there's 3 colleges there. So I know you could turn it out if you like.
If you do it right.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to get involved with the campuses, get involved with like fraternities and stuff like that. Like I'm Mu Sigma Chi at Husson, and I mean, we used to throw some parties. We were one of the biggest party schools.
Fraternities
and,
go crazy.
So if you got so there's UMaine and Orono, which is next one over. So you got UMaine, Husson, the community college, and I think Beale or Bates, I can't remember whichever one it was, but there's like 4 colleges in the area, so there's definitely plenty of youth and heads that would be all about it. This generation
play the right music for them, and
yeah,
they'll be there. See, and that's the other thing too, like the music itself. Like you have Portland, you have Boston, right? You have Providence, you have Hartford, a couple other places. Burlington, New Hampshire, you have Dover, but it's a little different.
Yeah, I used to
and
play
then
603.
You have Manchester. You know what I mean? Like
it's 2 different. Yeah,
and
they're spread. That's the thing. Again, it's all spread out.
Everything's spread out.
So you gotta travel. There's all these different crews and cliques, and I'm trying to spread my wings a little bit more. I'm trying to get a little bit more into other regions. I've been very Portland anchored, and
but you've been supportive with other crews.
Oh, absolutely.
In New Hampshire and stuff.
Totally, yeah.
Help support Soul Speed.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? Like, and that's one of the things. I've known you a couple of years now, and I've seen you. Support homies and
always.
Push their mixes or tracks and stuff like that.
It's a big thing. I mean, whether or not it happens back, it's not about the reciprocation anymore for me. It's just the fact that I love this scene. I love what people do here. I'm grateful for it, and in return, I see people out there trying to get a push, and why not be that guy? I've got a platform. I've built a hell of a following, and I really put a lot of work into my social media marketing, and I know that in itself can speak for itself, and I can do a lot for people with that. That's the least that I can do as a thank you for a lot of people. And whether it's just for being an inspiration or just seeing what you're doing for the community like yourself. Support it.
I appreciate it. And I've been able to bring every state, in New England together on this show. To try to show people that we're not as spread as we really think we are.
Yeah, we're spread, but we're tight.
Yeah, we're still all New England. Maybe you have to drive an hour and a half, 2, to get somewhere. Like for me, living here, it's 2 hours north, 2 hours south. You know what I mean? If I want to go to Boston, it's the shortest route. It's an hour. Or I can go out to Burlington. It's like an hour and 45-ish.
It's kind of why Portland ended up kind of being the place for me. Like, I mean, it was in that spot I was able to branch out to all those other places that you've just mentioned. Having that, it's a hub, it's a centralized point, I had to go 2 hours out of my way to get there and do it. And, it's a travel back home. Got to maybe sit on some homies' couches for a night or two, make it worth it, But, that's just the extra work I'll put into it. I love this so much. I quit my day job. This is what I do for a living. I got tats on my face, Mom. No.
Yeah, right.
But, it just is it's a way of life for me. And I guess for that to happen, I have to be where
the action is.
Right.
So, what do you think? Oh, I shouldn't say what do you think. Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
In 5 years, geez. I mean, I'm still gonna be pushing ahead with this venture. Trying to. I'm hoping to see myself in other states. outside of New England. 5 years from now, easily. I want to see myself on, and my crew, my homies, anybody who's involved. You know, I want to see them on large promotions and you know, getting taken care of on that. You know, getting compensated.
Yep.
Getting their travels taken care of. Getting you know, making a profit off it, making a name for themselves with it.
And what I loved is, I asked where you see yourself, but you quickly went for your crew as well.
I can't get there without my homies.
That's what it's about. It's supporting your homies. You know, if tracks or whatever, even if it's spinning their tracks at an event or a certain thing, like
shout outs, all of it.
Doing that, we help each other grow, like straight out. If it's sharing a mix, sharing a track, you know, the group I made, it's for everybody.
Right.
Post your stuff.
Right.
Let everybody hear it. It's a chance, you know, and network. And that this show, too, to show people, you know, that maybe never knew you. Right. You know what I mean? And they're watching from a different state. You know, and it's to open that door to people that don't maybe even know about house music or really DJing, you know, or you're just a button pusher, you know. This gives it a little bit inside look, you know, because we all have a story, you know, and
we're all still writing them.
Exactly.
Every day. And
the key is make your goals, right? Set your goal. Set your intention and enjoy the journey.
Absolutely.
There's going to be bumps. There's going to be, you know, trials and tribulations. But if you already know that's going to happen, just keep looking forward and you will get to your end destination, guaranteed.
Imagination's like, I posted something about this just a while ago, but like your imagination works within reason. And if you can conceive it in your mind, then it is a reality that can be manifested into something true.
Believe it.
Absolutely. If you believe it to be true, then it will happen. It will happen. It's just, and your mind will rationalize and manifest ways to make it happen. And it's up to you to believe that you can do it. As soon as you believe you can do it, you will do it.
It's like lifting weights, okay? If you tell yourself it's heavy, guess what? It's heavy. You're not going to pick it up, but you're going to be struggling. But if you tell yourself, that ain't heavy, I got that. And it really does work.
Right.
Like,
and
you can do this to any person. Like,
it's not easy.
Just hit them.
It shouldn't be easy either. It shouldn't be easy. It should feel heavy. You know what I mean? And and in my perspective, at least, I feel like if you're gonna go through something and like, you know, if you're not struggling to get there and it's easy, then you're not doing something hard enough. You know, it shouldn't be easy. I'm not saying that it shouldn't come with comfort, you know what I mean, but it should be pushing you. It should be, you know, you should never be okay with a final result. And you know,
no, definitely.
You know, it's for me, it's always there's always something I can improve on.
When you're going up in weight, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're at a weight and the next weight, you tell yourself you can't lift it, you're not going to be able to.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Putting your
You got to tell yourself, I'm going to get 3 fucking reps, you know. But you can use that for, you know, whatever you do. If you're a DJ, if you're a producer, if you're an artist, you know, if you're a carpenter, mason, it doesn't matter what you do, you know. Put it to that use and good things will come. So what kind of advice could you give, say, an up-and-coming DJ or producer or somebody trying to build an enterprise like your own?
Well, as far as DJing, it's go out there and don't be afraid to get in with the community. Don't be afraid of your failures or what you think they are, you know. Push yourself. Go out and get on open decks. Go rub elbows. Go get, you know, known with the people that are doing it already. So what I became a pro skater, and the way I did it was actually I was injured at the time. I had just gotten done having surgery on my knee, and I was just getting out of the Army, and I was looking for something else to do with my life. I was like, I'm just getting out. I'm trying to figure out where my life's going next, and across the street from my house was a skate park, and I seen these kids that were constantly over their skating. It was blowing my mind because like I watch X Games and everything else, and I'm like, this kid is doing what this guy's doing on TV. Like, who's this kid? Oh, he's nobody. Like, he's just this kid. And over at one of my weed dealers' house, this one kid was at the park. He's over there, and he's complaining about how nobody wants to film him. And he's got to make this tape so he can go send it out to try to get a sponsorship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, hey, I got a video camera, man. Like, let me go out there and film you, man. Let me help you out. Again, this is me I always like seeing people succeed.
Yep.
I can succeed vicariously just watching somebody do something. And if I can help them get ahead, this is, let me do what I can. Let me watch you bloom. So I would film this guy. I went out with him, got a camera. I was filming with him. Well, eventually I wanted to get better at, production. So I got a skateboard with soft wheels, and I'm riding along beside and trying to get these lines, real clean lines and, just professional looking. Well, in between all these sessions and filming, he's doing tricks and stuff. He doesn't want to film. So I'm over here with a skateboard in the park, but I'm surrounded by all these kids who are really good. Really good. And I'm picking up off of them left and right. I'm, learning with the best.
Yep.
I'm inspired by these people around me. And the more I'm surrounded by these people who inspire me and I look up to them, that I started picking it up to the point that I actually get a sponsor from the local shop. And before I know it, I got a shoe sponsor, and I got a board sponsor. I got clothes. I got sunglasses.
That's awesome.
I got all my entire gear. Every bit of my gear is paid for. I'm skating for free now, and now I'm just beating myself up for some company. But that's a whole nother story. But that's the moral of the story is like, if you want to become good at something, then surround yourself by people that inspire
people that are good at
right.
it.
And surround yourself with success and you will be successful.
Yep.
Don't step on the toes, but also know when to step up.
Yep. Exactly. Know when to spread your wings.
Yep.
And don't be scared to take that leap.
No.
And believe in yourself.
And if you
because you can do it.
Yeah. And if you're surrounded by people who are successful and you make good relationships with them, and say you do bite off more than you can chew, at least you're around people that got your back, and they're good at it, and they're going to be good at helping you recover and teaching you how to recover a little better next time, and maybe not slip and make that mistake.
Exactly.
If they're real.
Exactly.
But
and that's the thing too, having real friends that will say, "Hey, dude,
hey, spot check."
Yeah, exactly. So, this is the favorite question of all.
All right.
What has been the craziest party you've been to? And explain it, but don't incriminate yourself.
Jeez. Man, craziest party.
Craziest party.
Oh,
so
man.
far,
That's
been
a hard question for Jephirsun Danger.
Pants on, pants off party.
Man.
You had to take your pants off to get into the party.
Man, to be honest, it was the craziest party I've been to was not even EDM related.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it was Army related. Before we went off to war, when we'd already gotten our papers, a lot of us kind of made a little pact to each other because we were truck drivers. Not a long shelf life. For us out there, so we kind of all made a death pact, you know what I mean? And so we were going on a last hoorah, and this, before we go off to war, and there was cops that had showed up at this party. By the end of it, it was into some cul-de-sac. We had we had soldiers out front. The reason they got called is because somebody was out front having sex on the front lawn, just straight out, like just. The porch lights on. They're just right there in the front lawn.
Hey.
Spotlight on it. They don't care.
leave them alone. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to fucking...
We're going to war.
They're going to war. Like, leave them the fuck alone.
I don't think the neighbors appreciated it as much. But yeah, no, that was wild. But it was the funny thing is that the week later they did a piss test on us, and we kind of incriminated ourselves there.
Yeah,
11 of us all got in trouble. They basically waited to put the paperwork in though. Waited for us to deploy first. They put the paperwork in once we're overseas, so that way you don't get kicked out.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like on this probationary period, and which is fine because like you really can't get in trouble in that period of time. You really have to go out of your way to get in trouble in a combat zone. A couple of my friends still did drinking. That's a rule. You can't drink in a combat zone. General order number 1.
I don't think I would want to.
No, I mean, you really don't. I mean, yeah, it's a depressant. So,
because I would just want to try to stay clear-headed.
Yeah, but then if you got caught, I mean, that's the end of your career. That's everything. That's a big loss. I mean, I had my battle buddy. He got caught, and they sent him home like literally the next week. He was gone.
Because you put other people at jeopardy.
Yeah, you did.
That's
I mean,
the thing.
It really was. I mean, and honestly, like when I went in front of my commander after I'd pissed Todd, he's like, "Perry, you, Perry." That was my last name. So Perry, oh man, like I was a guidon bearer. I'm the guy who stands next to the commander with the flag, that represents the whole unit. You know what I mean? You're the poster child. You're not. Oh man, it was like one of those like brutal like.
Yeah, and you pissed there.
Yeah, I was like, I really did a bad one there, and it was just for weed. Like I was the only one for weed. Everybody else was. I'm not going to incriminate them, but
yeah,
and like, but he's like, really, he's like, we're about to go to combat, man, and like, I need your head in the game. You're over there getting doped up, and I'm like, I mean, now I'm like, come on, doped up, but that was relaxing, man. Like,
fuck,
you guys are putting me in a high pressure situation. We're 101st Airborne, Screaming Eagles.
Yeah,
but I got it,
and it
smartened me up. Yeah, I definitely didn't. Once we got over there, it was game on. But that party was our last hoorah, and a lot of us almost didn't make it. Like it was quite a riot. But people jumping off roofs into the pool, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a wild party. Yeah. So what's up, man? You ready to rock these decks or what?
You all ready for some breaks?
You ready to go? Let's go. MixedupMike Show, the only show that brings you both interviews and now live DJ sets. Let's get it from Jephirsun Danger. Woo woo. Give it up for Jephirsun Danger, everybody! Thank you, everybody in the chat. This is the MixedupMike Show, the only show that brings you live interviews and DJ sets in one place. Now it's time for my man Jephirsun Danger to get down. Get it.
Dance to it, okay? Okay. Okay. Dance to it, okay? Back play. Okay. Back play. Okay. We bouncing, baby, we twerking, baby, we shaking, baby, it's so amazing. You know, you dollars, crazy, crazy. You know, you dollars, you dollars, crazy. Go ahead and bounce it, baby. Go ahead and bounce it, baby. Go ahead and bounce it, baby. Make that ass. Go ahead and bounce it, baby. Go ahead and bounce it, baby. Go ahead and bounce it, baby. Make that ass. Baby, go and twerk, 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 shake it, baby. Go and twerk, 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 twerk. I'ma shake it, baby. Go and twerk, 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 twerk. I'ma take it, baby. Go and twerk, 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 twerk. I'ma shake it, baby. Come out, have a good time. Shake your bumper and
Come out, have a good time.
Turn me up some. Turn me up some. Responsibility, all I do is on my stick. Responsibility, all I do is on my stick. is on my stick.
You know, been sick, still sick, but they beating on my door. I didn't want to hear what I gotta say, and I got something to say, so I'ma let him hear what I gotta say. Sick and I don't give a fuck.
Run up on niggas, I'm tryna get paid. I won't give a fuck if you look on the flat. Getting sick and tired of niggas tryna play me like I won't come outside with AK. Long as you know I'm bustin' for my family, you can go and say what you about to say. Niggas ain't fucking with the game, blood, there's a baby gang, nigga Halloween. I was just minding my own, all alone in my room. Arizona gangsta. These niggas is bitches, they all on the internet. Mention my baby mama, we get hinted at. Now with the Twitter typing, but your shit back. On my daughter Goldie, we can catch that. From the east side where your set at. Ain't from around here, don't flex that. These niggas loud, these niggas soft. Independent, these niggas had no money. Syndicate, these niggas tryna get stuff from me. On the yard, these niggas ain't getting no money. Yo fiends, they be tryna get the dope from me. Yo set, yo gang got no respect. In the
moving, grounded.
it. Killed it. Killed it. Killed it. Killed it. My daughter's telling me I gotta work on my dance moves. You should see her dance.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Yo, man.
Thank you guys too. Oh, y'all.
Thank you to each and every single one of you in the chat. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you so much. Hanging out, lurking while you're working, stopping in, saying hello, hanging in, causing trouble. But right, man, Jephirsun Danger just ripped it up on the MixedupMike Show. Holy shit, putting on the clinic.
Do it for you guys, man. This community's all you guys, so that's why we're here. Keep coming out. Keep showing out. I got rave review coming up in, let me see, I gotta check my dates. But,
23rd?
Rave reviews coming up on the 7th, the 23rd of June. I'll be playing some trap music there, actually.
Yeah, you're gonna go trap?
Yeah, hybrid trap. I've been playing a little bit with bass more lately. It's kind of like another forte, you know.
Yep.
Hip hop being at the root of breaks, you know. That's the old school hip hop element, and you know your new school element for me is trap music. So it's kind of the progression of the music that's still at my root, still in my heart.
Yeah.
You know, anything that's hip hop.
Trap goes good with breaks too.
Yeah, and it does. There's like actually I want to mess around with some trap breaks. Break traps, whichever way you like to put that genre.
Can I close out the show? Can I do that?
She's got to be the next interviewer on the next one.
She's
She's ready.
she wants stuff, right? She wants me to finish, but she won't allow me to finish.
You got to
right?
get some good questions. And
Huh? 100 million, 30 million questions and all that stuff. So you got rave reviews down
Rhode Island
platforms, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just there this Friday. AMF, Big Red's birthday bash.
This will be the second
Great time.
one. Bunch of my crews putting it on. Willis down in Rhode Island. He's a big up and comer, man. Go listen to him. His bass house is off the chain. His producer, his music is all amazing. Please go look him up on Spotify. Willis,
definitely.
Yeah, he's great. He's amazing.
WILLEST.
You got it.
He's been on the show, man.
Yeah. Man, he's doing big things down in Rhode Island.
The next rave review too, he's got a DJ contest going on.
That's right.
So that right there, like you want to get into a rave review, he's got a contest coming up where you can go spin, show what you want and your talent, put your skills out there, and you might be spinning at one of the next rave reviews. So get out there, man.
Even if you're trying to get in the scene, if you're an up-and-coming DJ, this is like you had asked earlier, you know, how do you get into the scene? How do you come up? How do you get in there? This is it. Come out to the shows, show support, show some love, talk to us on the side, tell us what you're into. You know, if we got free time, maybe we end up linking
open
up
decks.
out there. Right. Get on them open decks. Go take a chance. Get on the contest. The worst that can happen is you didn't get it.
Exactly.
Next time.
You put yourself out there, though, and people are going to hear you. So even if you didn't win that contest, it's a win.
You're in
no matter
ear.
what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, some people, they show up with 30 people. So say if it's a vote contest.
Right.
You know, if somebody shows up with a squad of 30 people, you already know that person's going to end up winning.
Don't worry about trying to win. Worry about the vibe. Go out there, present yourself, be the DJ, be the artist, and just give the crowd what you are. Express yourself. That's your First Amendment, and flex it.
Exactly. Keep that, you know, that love for the music and that intensity for being behind the decks, because I love that if I can get one person to be like, you know what, dude, thank you. You know what I mean? Like having a shit day, this, and like you came on and just blew my mind, and like I just danced hard and like thank you. Like
it's the ultimate connection to everybody. I mean, if it's fulfilling in so many ways. It's therapy, but truly it is connection. I mean, through the music you can speak, and through your music choice you speak, through your mix you speak. And when you look up at the crowd and they make that eye contact and
Yep.
they're bobbing their head and you could just, there's that moment where, yeah, we're in this together right now.
Yep.
You know,
They're doing the point.
yeah.
You do the point back.
They got
like,
that bass
"Oh."
face, they got that stink face going, you know?
Yeah, the sting face. I get the sting face when I'm spinning.
I got him.
I get that sting. Yeah. Got the stanky leg going.
They got the stanky leg, yeah, little stanky leg going. You only do that in Maine. New England, that's a New England move.
Yeah,
stanky leg.
The stanky leg, right? Yo, thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you once again, Jephirsun Danger, for coming down here. Much love to you. Much love to each and every single one of you beautiful people. Next Sunday, oh my goodness. Next Sunday, we have AMF's own legend already at 13 years old, DJ Applejuice.
The prodigy.
Yo, he just spun at the last Friday for Big Red's Banging Beats, and he just went up there like, whoop, just killed it.
He's a legacy.
He drops the brakes. He spins brakes, man.
I'm gonna have to get in with it.
And he's getting booked constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly getting booked. He is talented.
The
like,
next gen.
he is a rising star. Yeah. Next Sunday, 3 p.m., make sure you tune in for this 13-year-old phenom, because he does all his speaking and showing behind the decks with the skills. So he's gonna be spinning probably on 2000, one of those 2000 big mixes.
So he's got next, and he is next.
Oh man, the kid's incredible.
That's another thing that makes his love, like, to be able to share that with the next generation, to see these next up and comers. You know.
Yep.
You know, that was another piece of the love that I have from skateboarding too. You know what I mean? It was just that seeing people taking on to something that you do, they're inspired by you. It's a reciprocation. It pushes me even to see somebody like that coming up. You know,
Exactly.
like he's doing breaks now. What's he doing? He's breaking molds and doing things differently. He's learning the machine totally from another angle. You know, I had to come up through the generations of these, like you know, like they start fresh on something like this. I mean.
Oh yeah, I mean he started on
things.
CDJs and mixers, so
Doing
you
it
know
right.
everything's by ear, and so he's definitely doing it right, and the kid is
I'll be
going places.
tuning in for sure.
That's for a fact. Kid's gonna be killing it next Sunday, 3 p.m. only on the Mixed-Up-Mike Show, the only show that brings you both interviews and live DJ sets. Until next week, we're out of here. I believe we're going to be raiding over to Juicy Bang Bang, Juice Grenade. So much love, everybody. I appreciate each and every single one of you beautiful people in the chat. I hope you all had a great day, great night, great morning, great evening, no matter where you are in the world. I just hope you had a great time hanging out with the show with Jephirsun Danger. Till next week. Much love. Catch me during the week, Tuesday through Friday, 11:30 till about 2-ish. I do some streaming, stuff like that. And you catch me on Too Hot Radio Mondays, 1 to 2 p.m. and then 6 to 8 p.m. and then Thursdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Going global, baby. Worldwide. Let's get it. All of us, we grow together. You want to support the show? I got all your merch for you. Snapbacks, trucker caps, t-shirts, any kind of flavor you want, bucket caps. I even got your mouse pads, coffee cups. I got it all, man. Just hit the little store link right there. Support the show. That's the best way you get it. You get what you want. You pick your size, and it gets shipped right to you. How do you get? You know, we don't get it much easier than that. Much love, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. All of you beautiful people. Let's go. Yo, let's get it choo-choo. Going over to Juice Grenade. Starting this raid off. Thank you once again, everybody. I appreciate each and every single one of you beautiful people. Next week, we got AMF Zone. DJ Apple Juice, 13-year-old phenom. Choo-choos.